Destin, Florida. It sounds like a dream come true. Sunshine, beaches, and a laid back lifestyle. But before you commit to the move, you need to have all the details. In this video, I'm going to cover with you the pros and the cons of Destin, Florida. Missing this could leave you regretting your choice even coming here in the first place. Don't miss out on crucial points that could make or break your move here. If this is our first time talking, my name is James Mercer. I was raised here. I moved away when I joined the military, but I got married, I had a child, and I moved my family back here. And I did that because I love this area. I think it's beautiful, I think it's unique, and I really don't think you can find anywhere else in the world that is like Destin or even just the Emerald Coast in general. If you're thinking of buying, selling, investing, or even heck, just visiting Destin, Florida, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. My contact info is in the description and on the screen. Reach out with whatever way makes you feel most comfortable. I would be honored to be your go-to real estate resource for Destin to 30A and surrounding areas. So for the pro and con video, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one pro and one con instead of just doing all pros and then all cons. I don't want to be all positive and then all negative, and I don't want to be all negative for half the video and then all positive. So I'll just do a back and forth, and then you can decide at the end if Destin, Florida really is the place that you want to move to. So for the first pro, we're going to talk about how Destin, Florida promotes outdoor lifestyle and fitness. So for the outdoor lifestyle side, it promotes some of the best fishing, some of the best water activities, some of the best beaches in the entire state. So Destin, Florida really wants you to go outside, enjoy the outdoors, and do stuff outside because that is really the charm and what draws people into Destin every year. It's always sunny here, so there's plenty of stuff to go and do. Whether you want to go to the beach and just sit on the sand and play in the water, maybe you want to go do some kayaking or some paddle boarding. Maybe you want to go out to the harbor walk down in Destin and walk around, or want to do some shopping outside the Destin Commons, or maybe you want to have dinner on the harbor looking out over the bay and watching all these different boats come in and out and watching the sunset go over the horizon. There is so much to do outside. I barely scratched the surface on what I was just going over with you. It's not really an indoor place though. Destin, Florida is not designed to spend your time indoors. Because of the weather here, because of the sunshine, it's meant to be outside. It's meant to be going out, doing stuff out in public, out on the water, going to the beach, being outside. Even the restaurants and the shopping centers, like I just covered a little bit, are open aired. Destin, Florida is perfect for someone who wants a more active and outdoor lifestyle. If you're someone that maybe likes to stay inside a lot, maybe do things inside, you don't really want to get outside in the sun or get outside in general, then Destin, Florida probably is not a place for you. So the first con is actually a pretty big one in my opinion as a local that lives here. And I think if anyone else that's watching this video, if you're a local, I really encourage you to go down in the comments and let me know what you think about this. But that there is a really bad lacking infrastructure here for the roadways. Destin, Florida gets about 5 million people a year here, tourism, and that is an insane amount of people for this small little town. Destin, Florida really only has about 14,000 full-time live-in residents, but we get 5 million people here. Think about the size of a 14,000 person town and you try and fit 5 million people in there. It is a lot of people. The roads get very packed. You will very easily in the summer see yourself waiting over an hour to get places in Destin, especially downtown. They've added way more lights, caused more traffic jam because of all the foot traffic crossing the main roadway. You know, if you're coming from Fort Walton Beach over the island into Destin, I mean, I've seen the Destin traffic stretch over the Destin Bridge down across the entire Okaloosa Island to the Okaloosa Island Bridge, also known as Brooks Bridge. And it's taken an hour and a half, just bumper to bumper gridlock trying to get to Destin. So that is something that I feel is a really big con. Destin has kind of struggled at keeping up with the demand for infrastructure as tourism's gotten bigger. Now, that doesn't mean that they just don't care, they're not doing anything. They absolutely are. But I think we all know that governments take time. It takes a very long time to get stuff done. They have gotten better. They have expanded the roadway as you get further into Destin. But that main Destin strip, right when you get over the bridge where the harbor walk's at, where a lot of those famous tourist eatery places are at, it's still two lanes on each side with a ton of traffic lights, and you are just stopping and going, stopping and going, stopping and going the whole way. I find that to be a pretty big con. So if you're someone that doesn't like traffic, this is going to be a really tough area because even though it's kind of small, there still is a good amount of traffic. Now, if you're someone coming from a bigger city, maybe up north or maybe from Atlanta or even another area in Florida, this traffic is much better than what you're going to find there. I'll tell you that right now. But as someone who really hasn't lived in a bigger city, this is the bigger city for me. This traffic can get very much a headache in the summer when I'm trying to go somewhere and I have to drive an hour to go 15 miles down the road. That's not really fun. So that's a big con for me. The second pro, and I kind of touched on it when I was talking about the first one, is the beautiful weather year round. I mean, this is Florida. This isn't really specifically a Destin, Florida thing. Florida in general has beautiful weather year round, but what I really like about Destin, Florida is how it is beautiful weather year round. It doesn't get as hot as some of the places in South Florida because they're more south, down closer to the equator. So it gets a little hotter down there. It still gets very hot here in the summers, but you can still go to the beach in the fall. I mean, heck, you could still go to the beach even in the winter. It's just kind of a crazy thing to say, but I think someone who maybe lives in a colder environment up north, if you're watching this video, drop a comment down below and let me know if you agree with this. But I think you would love to go to the beach in the winter. I mean, some people love the snow, but I definitely prefer the warmer weather over the cold. And I've lived here my whole life. So if it's below 70, I'm freezing. So some of you might not actually, might think that's kind of crazy. Some of you probably are wearing shorts in 30-degree weather and it's like whatever. But for me, I mean, it's very warm here year round. It does get a little cool. We do have a small winter here, usually January and February. And then by March, it's pretty much getting warm again. If you're someone that really likes warm weather, you're someone that really wants a warm weather environment, lots of things to do year round, Destin is a really good place for you. And that's why it's a pro for me. So the second con, tourism. And I think that's something almost crazy to say because I think tourism is what makes Destin, Florida, Destin, Florida. It's what's blown it up. It's not a really big city. Tourism is almost all of what Destin, Florida is about, and the businesses and the infrastructure here is designed to support it. But it is kind of a con if you're someone that's thinking about moving here, you want a nice laid back small coastal community, but then you have 5 million people coming here, and most of it is majority in those summer months when school is out. This is a very family friendly place, so people bring their whole families here, and you got 5 million people crammed into 3, 4 months of time. The roads are packed, restaurants are crowded. You want to go shopping, but everyone's out shopping. The beaches can get a little crowded. And unfortunately, it also means that you have to plan your outings ahead. If you know you want to go somewhere, you're going to have to look up how long it takes you to get there and probably add an extra 10, 15 minutes maybe just because of tourism, the slow traffic. Or you're going to have to plan your outings around peak tourism hours, either earlier in the day or later in the day. And that can be kind of a headache. You don't want to have to think about, oh, I want to go to this restaurant. I want to go to Beauchamp's, an amazing restaurant in Destin, also an extreme hotspot for tourists and locals alike. You're like, I want to go get some food at Beauchamp's. But then you got to look and be like, oh, well, what's the peak hours there? Oh, man, is it really busy? Or you have to call. You just want to be able to go and enjoy yourself. You're going to have to get around that tourism. You're going to have to figure out what roads get packed in the summer, which restaurants are the hot spots for tourists, and maybe you have to avoid them until off season and go, or maybe you just have to plan ahead of time or be okay with waiting an hour, hour and a half potentially to get seated for dinner and just try and make an evening out of it. That is really something you're going to have to think about, and that is why it is a big con for Destin, Florida. If you're someone that lives here in the Destin, Florida area or surrounding areas and you come to Destin, drop a comment down below and let others know, how do you get around the tourism here in Destin, Florida? So the number 3 pro in Destin, Florida, and a personal favorite of mine, is how community oriented it is. There are tons of events put on every year here in Destin, Florida. Fun runs, parades, fireworks shows, boat shows, drone light shows, Christmas events, Thanksgiving events, 4th of July events, New Year's events, tons of stuff that goes on in Destin, Florida. Really wants to bring the community out. They want to bring everyone together to go enjoy. It's great for the businesses in the area. It gets everyone in the location. It's a good time to get outside and go enjoy yourself with your family, and that is something that is super awesome about Destin, Florida. Destin, Florida is a very family friendly, community oriented place. They put on tons of after-school activities, leagues, clubs, really trying to get the younger kids, the younger generations, those families together, interacting with each other. There's tons of events, like I talked about, they put on, and a lot of it is very family friendly. So that if you are someone with a family looking for a nice place to move on the coast, Destin is a really good option. Destin hosts a variety of festivals, like the Seafood Festival and the Art Walk are two big ones they talk about. The Art Walk allowing musicians and artists, local musicians and artists, to showcase their work and their talents to the public. People can help out, buy some of the art, support those local artists. And that is just something really cool about Destin. It's a very community oriented, even though it might be small, really tries to put people out there and showcase their work and bring people together. There's tons of live music that they put on at all these different restaurants. You can go down the Hard Rock and listen to live music. You can go to some of the local bars in the area, listen to live music. Even some of the restaurants themselves just have live music playing while you're eating. Not to mention that the Destin city government is just really responsive and really cares about their citizens and wants to make sure that they have the best lifestyle possible. And they're always trying to think of new ways to improve the city and make it better, not just for the people that visit it, but for the people that actually commit to living there. So if you're thinking about moving here and you want a city government that's very involved and very much cares about your lifestyle and how to make it better, Destin, Florida is definitely going to be a place for you to keep on your radar. So the third con to living in Destin, Florida is that there is a higher cost of living here than there is in the rest of the state. Housing costs in Destin, Florida are much higher than the national average, 1.52 times higher. So here, your average price in home is about $429,000 compared to the average national price, which is about $281,000. So as you can see, there is a big surge in price here, and there is a reason for that. It's mainly because there's not a lot of land left to build out in Destin, Florida. They're looking at places up north like Crestview, Freeport, Defuniak. There's a lot of land and there is development going on, and you can usually find a home for a cheaper price up there. But in Destin, it's really been all built out. There's a huge surge of demand to live there and also to invest in there because of all the tourism. It's a great investment place. You are also not just competing with potential people that want to live there, but you're also competing with potential people that want a second home for a vacation home or an investment property. So there's just become a higher cost of living because of that. And of course, your average high inflation rates in the country and interest rates are just not helping it out at all. And so if you're someone that maybe is looking to live near the coast and you're on a budget, it's going to be kind of hard to find a good home in Destin, Florida for a reasonable price depending on your budget. Now, however, that doesn't mean there is no homes and that if you are on a budget of less than $430,000 that you are screwed out of luck and you just can't live there. Number one, there's other options. We have options like townhomes that you can buy, or even there are older style homes that you can buy. But let's just say like you're looking for a move-in ready home with modern amenities and a modern construction style. It's going to be really tough to find that if you're looking below 430. Even at 430, it could be a little bit tough to find that, but it's still possible. And that's why you're going to want a really good agent to help you find these properties, maybe even off market properties that aren't even on the market that they could help you find. Not to mention, you do have other options. You have places close to, but not in Destin. You could live in Niceville across the bay north of Destin and just drive across Mid-Bay Bridge into Destin. You could live, like I mentioned, in Freeport or even north of Freeport into Defuniak Springs. There's Fort Walton Beach. These places have some more affordable housing because the demand to live there is not as high as Destin, Florida. But overall, Destin, Florida has a higher cost of living. So the fourth pro is that Destin, Florida, it has a thriving real estate and investment opportunity. Whether you're looking for your primary first residence, or maybe you're looking for a second vacation home, you're looking for a condo, you're looking for a townhome, maybe you're looking for an investment property, maybe you're someone of luxury and wealth and you're looking for a beachfront mansion with your own private beaches. The short-term rental market is very strong in Destin, Florida. You know, everyone was talking about the Airbnb bubble popped overall across the nation, and that's just not the case in Destin. Like I mentioned earlier, 5 million people come here a year. Everybody knows that Airbnbs are better than hotels now. You get a full-size house with bathrooms and kitchens and bedrooms, and sometimes, especially here, you're close to the beach. So it's a really good option for people that are coming to the area that don't want to stay in a hotel and they want to stay close to the beach, or they just want to stay in a house so that even though they're away from home, they feel like they're at home, right? Destin, Florida is a great area. There is a huge short-term rental market here, still very strong. You might have 5 million people that come here a year, but overall, we have a like 90 million people that live within 9 hours of Destin, Florida. And that's just a short drive away for a beach vacation. Not to mention that Destin, Florida has just seen overall good rise in property values throughout the years. It has seen consistent increase. Now, yes, not everything is a straight line up, but it is consistently trended upward, which makes it a really good option if you're looking to buy your home. Best time to buy real estate was 5 years ago. So, you can buy a home now and it might drop a little bit, it might go up a little bit. But overall, the people of Destin, Florida have seen a steady increase in their property values year over year over time. So it is a really good market to buy in and know that the property that you're buying, whether it's for your personal residence or an investment, is going to continuously trend upward with property values in the long run. So the fourth con for Destin, Florida, it's hot here. Once again, this isn't specific to Destin, Florida, but yes, it does get very hot here. It's sunny weather here, but that comes at a cost. It gets very hot. Those summer months here can get pretty brutal. Upwards of over 100 degrees with 90% humidity. It's a definitely an environment that you have to acclimate yourself to. Even myself living here my whole life, I still every year after the winter passes and we start getting into the summer, or after the spring and we get into the summer, I have to acclimate back to this weather. I walk outside and I sometimes can like literally feel like I'm cooking, and that's just it's unfortunate. I mean, you get over it. It is what it is. It's Florida. It comes at a cost. You want these beautiful beaches and these, photogenic waters and everything's beautiful and there's so much stuff to do, but it comes at a cost. It is very hot here. And I wouldn't even say so much that it's the heat that really gets you. It's the humidity. It's the 90% humidity. The sweat sticks to you and it's it's not a fun feeling. It's something I really drives me crazy every single year in the summertime. I'm walking around outside and I'm very sweaty and then of course it sticks to me and it becomes one of those things where it's like a mad dash. You get to your car and the AC cranked on. Hopefully you have an auto start so you can already have it started. And then you get in there and then you drive where you're going. It's a mad dash to get, from the parking lot to the building so you can get inside the AC. So it's something, maybe that's just me. I don't know. If you're from here or you visited here or you're somewhere where it's really hot, let me know if that's how you like to do it in the summer. Do you dash around everywhere to try and get to the AC? You should probably know that if you're not used to very, very hot weather, you are going to have to go acclimated to it. You will be fine. Millions of people come here. Hundreds of thousands of people live on the Gulf Coast in this region. People get used to it. It is something that you get used to, and but it's going to be a little bit tough. And so I would say it's definitely a con for Destin. So the fifth and final pro is that Destin is a thriving economy. Due to tourism, Destin has done really well. All those people coming here every year, buying, renting, people that invest, people that already live here. It is a really good economy. There is a lot of opportunity here. Now, I will say that a lot of it is geared towards tourism, but we still have a very strong healthcare industry. We still have a very strong contracting and construction industry. We have some people that work, we have a really strong industry that works with the military. We have a very strong industry that works with tech, mostly probably for the military. But overall, it is a very good economy here. It allowed people to start up businesses that cater not just to the tourists, but to the people that live here as well. You obviously have your big box office stores, yes, but there is a lot of small boutique, mom and pop, locally owned stores here. And it feels really good to know that you're supporting them when you're out and about shopping. Maybe you choose to shop there versus a bigger box office store. Maybe you choose to eat at the local mom and pop restaurant versus the big box office restaurant. So, there is a lot of opportunity here. And because of that tourism, because of the thriving local economy that we have, it has allowed people to do that. So if you're someone looking to maybe be an entrepreneur or to have a startup, or maybe you're in one of these industries, you can see that, there is opportunity here, even though it might not be the biggest city. It's not in Austin, Texas, where it's probably going to become the next Silicon Valley. It's still a really good place. It's still a lot of opportunity here for you. Not to mention that Destin does support local entrepreneurship through things like the local Chamber of Commerce that have meetups, schedulings, and networking events to get to know people. They like to work with people closely. You get to network with other entrepreneurs in the area. So it's a really good opportunity. So Destin is very much pro entrepreneurship and business. And the fifth and final con is just a lack of indoor activities. That's an unfortunate side effect of being somewhere that is so beautiful. I know I promoted outdoor lifestyle as a pro, and I stand by that still. I think it is amazing how beautiful this place is. I think there's so much to do outside, and I think that's a great pro for someone who wants to be outside. But like I also mentioned, if you're someone that wants to be indoors, it's still optional. It's still available here, I mean, but it's just not going to be as prevalent as outdoor stuff. And in those summer months when it's very hot, you're sticky from all your sweat, it's humid, and you just want to enjoy your time inside, it's a lot harder to find indoor activities that keep you out of the heat versus outdoor. And that's because most of Destin is designed to be outdoors. And even the shopping centers and the restaurants, they're open aired. And that is why a lack of indoor activities is kind of a con. You know, there are times where I myself, a local that's lived here forever, has opted out of doing stuff outside because I just don't want to be sweaty. So maybe after watching this, you've still decided that Destin, Florida is still a place that you want to potentially move to. I would check out this video where I talk about the 10 reasons why Destin, Florida is the best place for you. Other than that, I hope this video really provided you some value and let you get some more insight and context into potentially living in Destin, Florida and what it might be like for you. If you're someone looking to buy, sell, or invest in Destin, Florida, reach out to me. Let's talk. I would love to have a conversation with you. My contact info is here on the screen and in the description. Reach out to me with whatever way makes you feel the most comfortable. I talk to people every day about the Destin, Florida area. I would love to talk to you. Other than that, I hope you have a great day and I cannot wait to talk to you next time.